What's the best blood pressure for older adults? Is 120/80 really best for older adults? Hello, I am Dr. David. I have spent my entire life studying aging and how we can not only live long lives, but live them independently and with mental clarity. If you have passed the age of 70, 75, or 80, and during your most recent checkup, your doctor smiled with self-satisfaction while looking at the blood pressure monitor displaying 120/80 and said, "Congratulations, your blood pressure is as beautiful as a young person's," then I have an urgent message for you. Do not be too quick to celebrate. There is a devastating truth hidden behind those perfect numbers. A shocking study recently published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, one of the most prestigious medical sources in the world, closely followed over 15,000 seniors for 5 years. The results left the entire medical community stunned, as they completely contradict what we have been taught for the past 30 years. Those who possess the perfect blood pressure level of 120/80 in their later years actually have a 28% higher risk of serious falls, and their actual mortality rate is even higher than those with blood pressure levels considered slightly high. Today, in this special video, I will deconstruct the truth about the trap called standard blood pressure. I will show you why forcing blood pressure down too low after age 75 is an extremely risky move, and most importantly, I will guide you through a simple test you can do at home tonight to know if you are facing the risk of a deadly fall. But before we dive into this life-saving data, I want you to do one thing. Please press the subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. Why? Because in a sea of confusing information, medical knowledge based on real evidence specifically for seniors is the shield that protects your life. And now, please pause for 3 seconds to comment your age below. Just the number of your age. Why? Because the body of a 65-year-old is completely different from that of an 85-year-old. I need to know which group you belong to in order to provide the most accurate analysis in the later part of this video. If you frequently feel dizzy when standing up, please add the word dizzy to that comment. This is a cry for help from your body that you are not allowed to ignore. Let me tell you a story that I witness every week at my geriatric clinic. Meet Mr. Nam, 78 years old. Mr. Nam is a person who cares deeply about his health. During a routine checkup, his blood pressure was 145/86. According to current standard guidelines, this number is considered hypertension. Mr. Nam's doctor, a very dedicated person, looked at the computer screen and said, "Sir, our goal is to get this below 130, ideally 120. And so one medication was prescribed, then a second was added. After 6 months, the goal was achieved, 124/78. The doctor was extremely pleased, giving him a star of hope in his medical record. Mr. Nam also felt proud because he had controlled his health well. But this is the part that dry medical guidelines do not account for. That night, Mr. Nam was sleeping when he felt the urge to use the bathroom. He sat up and stepped out of bed. At that exact moment, his blood pressure dropped straight from 124/78 down to 88/56 in just a few seconds. The brain of a 78-year-old cannot withstand such a sudden drop. The room began to spin like a whirlwind. He reached for the wall but missed his footing. Crash. In an instant, we are no longer talking about blood pressure numbers. We are talking about a fractured hip, high-risk emergency surgery, 3 weeks in intensive care, and a chain of complications: pneumonia, infection, and permanent loss of mobility. Why did a treatment result considered a brilliant success on paper lead to a real-life tragedy? It is because modern medicine often makes the mistake of viewing the body of a 75-year-old as merely an older version of a 45-year-old. No, we are completely different. To understand why we need a different perspective, I want you to understand the 3 core biological changes that no medication can reverse. First, arteriosclerosis, hardening of the arteries. Imagine your blood vessels are like a water hose. When you are 20 years old, that hose is a high-quality rubber, extremely flexible and elastic. When the heart pumps blood, the hose expands to absorb the pressure. But when you are 75 years old, that hose is like a plastic pipe that has been sitting in the sun for 20 years. It becomes dry, hard, and brittle. In such a rigid pipe system, you need a slightly higher baseline pressure to ensure blood can flow to the furthest places like the brain and kidneys, especially when you are standing upright and blood must flow against gravity. If you try to force the pressure down to the level of a youthful rubber hose, blood simply will not be able to reach the brain. Second, aging of the baroreceptors, pressure receptor system. In your neck and chest, there are tiny sensors called baroreceptors. Their job is to detect changes in posture immediately. When a young person stands up, these sensors report to the brain, "Hey, blood is dropping to the legs." Immediately, the heart beats faster, blood vessels constrict, and blood pressure stabilizes. But at your age, these sensors become lazy and respond slowly. If you are using medication to keep your blood pressure at a low level, for example 120, when you stand up, this system cannot react in time, and your blood pressure will fall off a cliff before the body can adjust. That is the culprit behind the spells of lightheadedness and dizziness. Third, the terrifying gap between research and practice. Many doctors are still applying research conducted on people in their 40s and 50s to their 80-year-old patients. That is a deadly mistake. The study in JAMA Internal Medicine that I mentioned at the beginning of the video followed over 15,000 real-world seniors, including those with diabetes, heart disease, and those in frail health. The results showed the group that lived the longest and had the fewest complications had systolic blood pressure ranging from 130 to 140 millimeters of mercury. The group below 120 millimeters of mercury had a 14% higher mortality rate and a significantly higher rate of acute kidney injury. Your kidneys need a certain filtration pressure to function. When the pressure is too low, the kidneys will start to die gradually. Now, I want to give you a tool to protect yourself. Do not wait until your next visit. Perform the test called postural blood pressure tonight. It only takes 3 minutes of your time but can save you from a hip fracturing fall. Step 1. Prepare an electronic blood pressure monitor at home. Lie down on your bed or sofa and relax completely for 5 minutes. Then, measure your blood pressure while you are still lying down. Record this number, for example, 130/80. Step 2. Stand up immediately. Stand straight, no need to rush, but you must measure as soon as you have stood up. Record the second number, for example, 105/70. Step 3. Analyze the results. If your top number, systolic, drops by more than 20 units, or your bottom number, diastolic, drops by more than 10 units, then unfortunately, you are suffering from orthostatic hypotension. This is a red alert. This means the beautiful blood pressure level you see while sitting or lying down is merely an illusion. When you move, your body is suffering from severe lack of blood to the brain. If you encounter this situation, absolutely do not stop your medication on your own, but take these results to your doctor tomorrow morning. Tell them, "Doctor, my postural blood pressure is dropping too much. I am concerned that the 120/80 goal is putting me at risk of falling." You see, in geriatric medicine, a lower number is not always better. Sometimes a little high is the protection that nature provides for our old age. But if 120 is too low and 150 is too high, then what is the real number for you? Does a 70-year-old have the same goal as an 85-year-old? And what if you have diabetes or have had a stroke? Do not go anywhere, because the following information will help you reset your entire health roadmap. If you find what I have shared useful, please press like so YouTube knows and spreads this video to many other seniors. Let's begin. In geriatric medicine, we have a maxim: treat the person, do not treat the number. A blood pressure number of 145 can be dangerous for a 40-year-old, but it is the number that helps an 85-year-old woman have enough blood to stand firm on her own 2 feet. Below is the classification table for blood pressure goals based on the latest clinical evidence that I want you to write down or take a screenshot of. Group 1. From 65 to 74 years old, the transition phase. If you are in this age group and are still active without too many complex underlying diseases, the ideal goal for the top number, systolic, should be in the range of 130 to 140 millimeters of mercury. Why? At this age, we still need to protect the heart and prevent long-term stroke, but at the same time, we must begin to respect the hardening of the arteries. A number below 130 begins to cause more side effects than benefits. Group 2. From 75 to 84 years old, Accepting vascular aging. This is the age group that the JAMA study emphasized the most. Your goal should be 135 to 145 millimeters of mercury. Dr. David's analysis. Do you see? This number is higher than the usual standard. Why do I advise you to keep your blood pressure slightly high? Because this is when your blood pipes have significantly hardened. Forcing blood pressure down to 120 at this age is like trying to force an old pump to run at low pressure. The water will never reach the top floor, your brain. At the 135 to 145 level, you have enough pressure to supply blood to the brain and kidneys, but not so high as to cause blood vessels to burst. Group 3. Over 85 years old or frail individuals. For those over 85, or anyone facing multiple medical conditions at once, the goal should be 140 to 150 millimeters of mercury. Top priority. At this stage, the ultimate goal of medicine is preventing falls and maintaining quality of life. A fall at age 85 is often the end of independence. We accept a higher blood pressure level to ensure seniors do not fall when standing up to use the bathroom at night. There is a mistake that many people and even some doctors make, only looking at the top number while forgetting the bottom number. Your diastolic blood pressure must absolutely not be allowed to drop below 60, ideally between 70 and 85. Why is this a matter of life and death? Unlike all other organs, your heart does not receive blood while it is contracting. It only receives blood to nourish itself when it is relaxing, which is when the diastolic pressure is active. If you overmedicate and cause the bottom number to drop to 55 or 50, you are directly suffocating the heart muscle's source of nourishment. The result? You may suffer from heart failure or angina even if the top number looks very good. I know the current reality. Doctors are often very busy. An examination sometimes only lasts 10 to 15 minutes. They look at the screen, see the number 145, and by reflex they will prescribe more medication. How can you, someone who has understood the sweet spot, dialogue with your doctor to adjust the roadmap for yourself? Do not argue, provide data. Here are 3 steps to help you persuade your doctor to personalize your treatment. Present a home blood pressure diary. Do not just say, I feel fine. Bring a notebook recording your blood pressure for 2 weeks, twice a day, morning and evening. If your average is 138 to 75, the doctor will be much more reassured than seeing the number 150 caused by your anxiety when visiting the clinic. White coat effect. Request a postural blood pressure measurement. Say it directly, Doctor, I have read about research on postural hypotension in seniors. Can you help me measure my blood pressure while I am standing? When the doctor sees your number drop by 25 units upon standing, they will immediately consider reducing your medication dose. Describe side effects accurately. Do not just say, I am tired. Use the specific terms I have taught you. I feel lightheaded for about 5 seconds every time I stand up from a chair, or I feel brain fog and extreme fatigue in the afternoon after taking my blood pressure pill. These symptoms are evidence that your brain is lacking blood. My friends, the journey to find health in your later years is not a race to achieve beautiful numbers on a monitor. We do not live to serve statistical charts. We adjust the numbers to serve our own lives. I want you to remember one final thing. You are a unique individual. Your blood pressure goal must be based on how you feel, your mobility, and the health of your kidneys. Here are 3 things you need to do tonight. Check the monitor. If your monitor is too old or inaccurate, invest in a quality upper arm monitor. This is the cheapest investment for your life. Perform the Lystand test, as I instructed in part 1. Do it tonight and record the results. Keep a 2-week diary. Do not wait until you feel tired to measure. Measure when you feel healthiest to know what your true sweet spot is. Please share this video with your fellow senior friends or send it to your family group. A small action of yours could save a loved one from a painful hip surgery that costs hundreds of millions. Thank you for listening. Please click on the video appearing on the screen to continue the journey with me. I am Dr. David, wishing you to always be steady, clear-headed, and in control of your own numbers. See you again.